The racialization of cannabis has been evident throughout our country's past. However, there have been efforts in recent history to further its racialization and vilify communities that use it. In the years of President Nixon's executive term, he strove to manipulate the voters that did not align with his policies and views. To do this, Nixon declared a war on drugs, attempting to clean the streets of all drugs and incarcerate anyone who indulges in such. He started by creating the Controlled Substance Act, which categorized all known drugs into 5 different schedules. Schedule 1 being dedicated to the most harmful drugs that have no accepted medical use, and Schedule 5 being for drugs that have wide medical use and have limited dependency issues. Marijuana was placed on Schedule 1, sitting right beside heroin and LSD on the federal drug schedule. However, with a pushback on marijuana's status on the drug schedule, Nixon wanted to blur the distinction between cannabis and other Schedule 1 drugs. He had said to his chief of staff, H.R. Haldeman, that the real problem was the blacks, and he wanted to devise a system that recognized this without appearing to do so. Nixon's next step was to call for a report saying, "I want a goddamn strong statement about marijuana. I mean one on marijuana that just tears the ass out of them." Richard Nixon appointed Raymond Shafer, former governor of Pennsylvania, to the National Commission of Marijuana and Drug Abuse, and asked him to research marijuana's effects on America and its citizens, while devising a report that would destroy any argument that is pro-cannabis. However, after 2 years of researching how cannabis affects people and communities, Shafer concluded that cannabis is actually not nearly as villainous and harmful as Nixon had let on. The Shafer report said there was no significant physical, biochemical, or mental abnormalities that could be attributed to marijuana smoking, no valid stereotype on a marijuana smoker that could be drawn. Young people who could choose to experiment with marijuana are fundamentally the same people socially and psychologically as those who use alcohol or tobacco. No verification is found of a causal relationship between marijuana and heroin use. Most users, young and old, demonstrate an average or above average degree of social functioning, academic achievement, and job performance. Marijuana does not cause violent or aggressive behavior, and if anything, serves to inhibit the expression of such behavior. Marijuana is not generally viewed by participants in the criminal justice community as a major contributing influence in the commission of delinquent or criminal acts. Neither the marijuana user nor the drug itself can be said to constitute a danger to public safety, and there is no reliable evidence existing indicating that marijuana causes genetic defects in man. The report concluded that marijuana's relative potential for harm to the vast majority of individual users and its actual impact on society does not justify a social policy designed to seek out and firmly punish those who use it, and actually called for the possession of up to 1 ounce of marijuana to be decriminalized entirely. Upon receiving this report, Nixon was furious, and much like LBJ with the Kerner Commission, he ignored the Shafer report completely, as if he had never called for its creation. For Nixon, the Shafer report was just another attempt to silence and manipulate the minority voters that wanted to see Nixon out of office. And in 1994, President Richard Nixon's aide, John Erkelman, admitted in an interview that on the war on drugs was a tool to arrest and manipulate blacks and liberals, stating, "We knew we could not make it illegal to be either against the war or black, but by getting the public to associate the hippies with marijuana and the blacks with heroin, and then criminalizing both heavily, we could disrupt those communities. We could arrest their leaders, raid their homes, break up their meetings, and vilify them night after night on the evening news. Did we know we were lying about the drugs? Of course we did." The lie that was the war on drugs led to mass incarceration of black Americans, with blacks being frequently arrested for minor possessions of cannabis. Even today, black Americans are 3.73 times more likely to be arrested for cannabis offenses than white Americans, despite almost equal usage rates. Overall, the Shafer Commission served to be a pro-cannabis report. Despite Nixon's request for a report that would help him target and criminalize the population of black Americans that did not approve of him, his lies and manipulation of the war on drugs led to further racialization on cannabis, and the heat is still being felt today.